we want to get back to our marquee story because we do have a special guest coming through. So for those that did not hear, the third-degree murder charges against Derek Chauvin, the cop that killed George Floyd, have been dropped, but his larger charges still remain. We wanted to bring in a legal expert in order to kind of help explain what that means before people obviously click on the clickbaity ass headlines and instantly go to, rioting again or anything like that. So, ladies and gentlemen, I bring in one of my best friends since childhood. He is a defense attorney in Dallas, Texas. My boy, Tommy Perkins. What's up, man? How you doing? Welcome to the show.
What's going on?
Chilling, bro.
What's happening, Tommy, man?
He got the patterns on. Are you trying to be serious?
I'm gonna tell y'all about these laws and how it go down. You see me?
Yeah, let me tell you about these laws real quick.
Word, man. So me and you were talking about this earlier this morning. That essentially this judge ruling over this Derek Chauvin case has thrown out the third-degree murder charges. And you were kind of explaining to me, because this is a third-degree murder isn't in every state, right? I guess it's specific to Minnesota. Right. So tell us a little bit about it.
Okay, so I'm no expert. I'm licensed in Texas, so that's kind of the extent of my area of expertise. But I do practice criminal defense, and I was a prosecutor, so I do kind of understand a little bit of what's going on. So from my reading of it in Minnesota, there is a third-degree murder charge. The third-degree murder is one of the statutes. And the way third-degree murder works is that it's very similar to the Breonna Taylor situation, where it's created for people that are basically collateral damage. So shooting blindly into an apartment in the way that officer did would apply to third-degree murder. So let's see. So here's the exact wording. The charge can be sustained only in situations in which the defendant's actions were imminently dangerous to other persons and were not specifically directed at the particular person whose death occurred. So it's kind of, it takes into account a situation where you're acting in a certain way and you're putting other people at danger. This probably never should have been charged in the first place because there was only one person that was in danger the whole time. So that's why it was dismissed, because there was not any evidence to show anyone else was in danger at any time.
Word. So like the best example that someone gave to me is that if, let's say, you drove a car into a crowd and you murdered somebody, that it would be the second degree for the person you killed, but then third degree for the surrounding bystanders.
Right. Yes. So you'd end up with potentially some first degrees out of that if it was the intention to hit one person, some second degrees if you were reckless enough to cause some other people to die, and then some third degrees if there were just other people that were there that happened to get hit. So it's kind of it deals with that sort of stuff. But because there's only one person that could have been killed by this person's actions, that's why the judge felt it was inadequate. But the biggest thing to take away is that all eight, was it 8 out of 9 or 7 out of 8, all the other ones were upheld, which means that doesn't mean there's going to be convictions, doesn't mean that the cases are going to be prosecuted. It means that there's at least enough evidence after looking at what the state has presented that a jury needs to make that decision, or there needs to be a plea. But legally and factually, there's enough evidence to get to the next step.
Great.
Well, that's a good thing to hear.
Because as we were, we have some of the images here from the initial tweets. Part of the problem is like when you see this is so clickbaity to oh shit, they're dropping charges.
To elicit a reaction instantly.
Right.
And that's what they want. That's what people want out of this. And Alex and I talk about this all the time. We know that we have another friend that's in a group chat. One of the things that I could tell both of y'all and anybody watching, to make sure you read, I'm sure y'all talk about it too. Read the whole damn article. Don't just read the headline. Don't read the tweet. Yeah. Read the article, because it's written in a way to get some sort of outrage from people. But when you read the article, it's clear as day that this never should have been charged, but all the other charges are going forward. They're just trying to get people to be pissed off by the fact that how could this be dismissed? What's wrong with this person? Blah, blah, blah. Whereas that's not where we're at. Read the article.
No, exactly. No, I greatly appreciate you coming in here. I wanted to throw some of the comments.
Appreciate it much.
The homie IMAX talking about you ain't got no job.
No job, Tommy.
Texas stand up right here. Yeah. But a lot of thanks for the explanation, because that's exactly that's the problem, is that it's not bad news. It's that they're taking it seriously, because but
like you said, the headline which is clickbaity headlines have become the norm now, unfortunately. And so people always just jump in like, oh, see this, blah, blah, blah. And you be like, did you read what's inside of it? Well, no, I just saw the headline. And you're like, well, that's the problem.
Yeah.
Because
So,
imagine if this is the headline: 8 out of 9 charges allowed to go forward in the Derek Chauvin case. You know,
yeah,
that
nobody
switches the
would
entire
necessarily
thing.
click
And
on
then,
it.
and then we're happy. Right.
Yeah.
Right.
No, that makes sense. Well, real quick, man, because I know you're still
I'm
doing
still
your
at
work
work. Like,
day.
I got other questions. I mean, I'm here for the moment.
Okay, all right. Well, I mean, shit.
I don't swallow ass. You see, it was like a mere for a moment, though.
All right. Well, then what about the other big case I know going on right now is we just got word that they are that what's his name? The Attorney General of Kentucky did not actually
present the evidence to the grand jury.
Homicide and whatnot. What, like, kind of go into that a little bit if you can.
I can't remember which Supreme Justice said it, but they basically said a grand jury will indict a ham sandwich. You present the case to the grand jury in the way that you want it to come out. So if he wanted an indictment, he would have gotten an indictment. If he wanted a murder indictment, he would have gotten a murder indictment. A grand jury is secret in order to, quote unquote, protect the accused or the innocent, because they don't want people's names getting smeared around if they're actually not guilty of something, if they're never going to actually be charges. But the way it really works is the defense does not have an opportunity to be heard. We're not present during the proceedings, so we have no opportunity to present any evidence of defense. And what the DAs do, because I was a grand jury prosecutor, the way we did it was I just read a police report into the group of 15 people and told them to give me an indictment. So if I asked for an indictment, they give me one. If I said, hey, we don't have enough evidence, do this a no bill, they do a no bill. So he presented it in a way where he was never going to get an indictment for murder because that's not what he wanted. Wow. And it seems like he didn't present it in a way to get an indictment for anything. Right. And it's pretty interesting that they're now discussing releasing the transcripts because that never happens. So we'll get to see.
Which is crazy. Will that? Sorry to cut you off. Could that lead to anything changing down the line or whatnot? You know, now that we see and we're hearing all this, like, is it still just, oh well, when now we know how bogus he was? Is it just, well, we just have to deal with it for what it is?
Well, so there's always a chance they could represent it to another grand jury. They do that. But that's going to be a big political decision that they're going to have to make is if they're going to re-release it or represent it. And one of the issues they also have to deal with is, you know, the same way that a jury has to be unbiased. If that grand jury testimony gets out, the transcript gets out, then how do you get an unbiased grand jury to then determine what they're going to do? Because if they've read it and it's such a high profile case, then they're going to have an opinion one way or another going into the proceedings. So that's going to dictate potentially what they do. But no, it doesn't have to end that way. They can certainly represent it to a different grand jury or the same grand jury. And I know that grand jury, it seems like would have, like I said, they would have returned whatever they were asked for. And it seems like some of them, I think, said that they believe that had they presented a lot of the evidence they didn't present, they would have ended up with a potential murder indictment. They just never got the chance and asked for the chance to see some of that evidence. And he said, no, we got to move on. We don't have time.
Word.
Yes, sir. This nigga spitting. Damn, nigga.
Well, I appreciate all of that, man. Like that's some real talk. Which Tommy, real quick, if there's anything you want to plug, man, go ahead and throw it in there. Real quick.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Okay, so I work if you're in Dallas, the greater Dallas area, I work for the Goolsby Law Firm, GOOLSBY. All your criminal defense needs. If you need an immigration attorney in the Dallas area, my wife is an immigration attorney, Ray is immigration law. But we're here to help if you need anything. And thank y'all for having me. I'm usually really busy in the afternoons doing consultations, but I'm usually in the comments. So if y'all ever want me back, I'm always here to help answer some of these questions. I explain a lot of this stuff to Alex all the time, or Winston, I guess as he goes by.
Just depends on who's talking to me.
But yeah, y'all are great. I enjoy watching y'all's show. So I'm always here if y'all need me.
Thank you so much, man. We definitely appreciate this.
And when I come out to Cali, I'm gonna have to meet you, man.
Hey, absolutely, man. For sure. Let me know.
I gotta come meet my niece, man. We're talking about road tripping to Dallas. So you know,
yeah, she's only almost a year and a half old. So get your ass.
You don't have to rub in the fact that I'm the worst uncle ever. Jesus Christ.
Yeah, you're terrible. You're a horrible uncle.
Hey man,
I'm glad
COVID a mother.
my kids' lives. Jesus.
COVID a mother. All right, man. Thank you
All
so
right, man.
much.
Y'all be good. Absolutely.
You too.
All right, man. Be blessed. Thank you so much to Tommy for coming on to help educate and inform us, because again, clickbaity headlines do exist, and many times we don't go into the article. We see what the headline is, we formulate an opinion, and we go from there. And so to have him break that down again, he's like he said, he's been in the comments numerous times during the show, and we so much appreciate that.